Hello and welcome to Asia Today. I'm Rico Hizon in Singapore. Mumbai Fashion Week is one of the most eagerly anticipated events on the fashion calendar as it sets trends for the season ahead. This year, it saw a larger than usual number of international appearances, which may be a positive sign for India's fashion industry. The BBC's DELNAAZ IRANI took a stroll down the red carpet and even stepped backstage to find out whether Indian fashion is ready to take its place on the world stage.
Well, we're here at Lakme Fashion Week in Mumbai. On display over the last few days has been the latest summer resort collection of 2010. Now, the purpose of events like this one are, of course, to showcase what Indian fashion has to offer, but to also integrate Indian fashion in the global context. So just how far has this year's event gone in achieving that? Well, with me is a man who's probably the best placed to answer that question, internationally acclaimed fashion writer and critic Colin Mcdowell. Colin, you've been at this event for the last few days, so what do you think is holding back Indian fashion from really taking off globally then?
As I said earlier, I think one of the problems is they're not quite sure whether they're wanting to be totally Western or totally Indian. I think that what it has to do is first of all decide what it wants to be itself, what it wants to say about India through its fashion, that's Indian way of life, Indian culture and everything. Then get it right, then offer it to the world, and I think the world will come running.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Mr. McDowell. And in fact, this year's fashion event, there's been a greater international presence than ever before. In fact, a rather famous European designer will be showcasing his collection later today, and we're going to go backstage to meet him. Well, we're backstage now, and as you can see, there's a mad rush here as the finishing touches are being put on the models ahead of one of the most anticipated shows at this year's event. A unique collaboration between famous UK fashion designer Christopher Kane and TG's iconic hairdresser Anthony Muscolo. Now, in just a moment, we're going to get to see their collections out on the ramp. But before we do, I have with me one of the men behind the fashion. Hi, Mr. Kane.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Lovely to meet you too. Can you tell me a little bit about why you decided to feature your collection at this year's fashion event in Mumbai?
Well, why not? I've never been to India before, so I jumped at the chance. And it's a great opportunity to be here. Lakme Studio have been really supportive as well, and Lakme Fashion Week, so it's a great place. India is really nice and diverse, and I love the culture, so it's really good.
So this is your first time to India, and what is your take on some of the fashion and collections you've seen over the past few days?
I think they really involve the culture. You can really see how they're so aspirational, they're so beautiful, they're glamorous. But I use a lot of Indian factories for my embellishment, my textiles, so you can really see how they involve that in their work. They're very technically skilled, geniuses, artists, so I'm really lucky to have connections here as well.
Moving forward, do you see more collaborations between the Indian fashion industry and international fashion designers like yourself?
Yeah, for instance, I work with the same factories that work with many big houses all over the world, like Versace, Lanvin. You really see a skill here that's really quite nothing that you've never seen before, and I think that's very unique, and it should always stay that way.
Wonderful, thank you very much, Mr. Kane. Well, we heard it from the man himself. India does have some very unique offerings, and according to the organisers of this year's event, this year in fact there are more international buyers than in previous years. So this might just be the beginning of bigger and better things to come for India's fashion industry. At the Lakme Fashion Week in Mumbai, I'm DELNAAZ IRANI for BBC News.
And that's all for this edition of Asia Today. I'm Rico Hizon in Singapore. See you again soon.